Hello and welcome back to Opposite Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and this week we will not be going over the back. We'll be going over the Manteuffel. Okay, so this is a line. The new German line has come out. The uh, the first three are basically Graspe. So Graspe, the Deutschland class. So the first two are Deutschland, and then uh, Sen Nesback uses 305s instead of 203s, so it's 1 inch larger, slightly larger, but it's the same concept as Deutschland. But this line uses manual secondaries. So the ship itself, it has a battery of 350 at tier 9, which is actually pretty large for a cruiser. It's a cruiser. It's a battle cruiser. You have guns too small for a battleship, but they are still considered battleship caliber guns. But all the battleships that you're going to be facing generally have 380 millimeter or larger. And you should know when I'm recording this. So, so they are big guns. They are nice guns. However, the gimmick is the secondaries. It is a secondary ship boat. Now, this ship, you can just leave it in secondaries, and you can uh, like just not manually fire them, but you can also manually fire them. So you have the option of doing both. And the reload on these isn't too different, so it doesn't feel too bad between the reload for them. Now, they are German HE, so you don't have to have IFHE. In fact, you shouldn't. The 128s already pen 32 millimeters of armor, and the 150s pen 38 millimeters of armor. So you're going to be penetrating most everything. And yes, you get torps, two racks of four with 9.5 kilometer range, decent torpedoes. The damage could needs to be a little bit to be desired, but you're probably going to be taking the extra damage anyways, so they were probably intentionally made low damage, expecting that. So, let's see. Who shall we assign on? Who shall we assign? Uh, do I have someone on Hindenburg already? Ooh. The problem with having so many captains. Time for Poison, Rune, of course. Z23. Oh, I know. We'll just go to Hindenburg. Do I not have? Oh. Well, Hindenburg needs Hindenburg. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And go back to Manteuffel. Assign commander. Well, we'll just assign this commander for now. Okay, so on to the captain skills of what we're going to do. So we would do, you don't need gun feeder. You're just going to use armor piercing for your main guns and HE for your side guns. You could use, no. You could use Last Stand just in case, but Grease the Gears is probably the best here. After here, you have, you can add fires. So that's 9% and 6%. So higher chance of fires, or you can have priority target to who's looking at you. We're going to go with fires. And then you're going to do pack a punch because this gets your secondary firing range up to 9.5 kilometers before we even add modules. And Then we want top grade gunner because this reduces the reload time. So you have now it's 4.1 and 3.7. So we're just going to go ahead and master those. After that, you want superintendent and adrenaline rush. Um, then you have so then it is the rest is to play around with. So after those two, you can go with survivability expert and priority target, or you can go with radio location and then last day and incoming fire lord or faster torpedoes. But basically, this is what you need for PvE, and the rest is to play around with. And don't gun feeder is only for if you're playing PvP. If you're not playing PvP, there's no reason to do that because you're not going to run HE with your main guns. So that's only if you're for PvP. So if you're going sitting really far back and you just want to farm fires and not actually use your secondaries. So those are the skills. So the we're not going to take these for now, but we're just taking these because these affect everything. After that, on to equipment. So auxiliary, they want auxiliary, but since they're never be deleted anyways, I'd actually say main battery. Mod, they'd say, yep, damage control, so you're not uh, taking fires or taking less fires. Then it's secondary. You could do aiming systems for a less a secondary, more main gun focused build, but you only have 6 main guns, so here you kind of want to do your secondaries. After that, you have the options of prop mod or damage control systems. We're going to go with prop mod because you have a fast DCP, cooldown of only 40 seconds, so no need to worry about the fires. You have a heal as well. Afterwards, you can do steering gears or concealment system mod, uh, or consumable duration. But since it's a fast DCP, that would only give you another second on the DCP and only another 274 HP for. I guess you have 28 seconds, so maybe 1,000 HP. So we're gonna do concealment mod. Lastly, you have main gun, so that you can reduce your main guns from 25 seconds to 22 seconds if you want to use your main guns more. They are suggesting auxiliary armaments because then this means that you have a 3.3 second here and a 3 second here, which is pretty fast, and that's kind of making this your main source of damage and your main guns being secondary. So that is why that is suggested. But honestly, it's up to you and how you want to position. I'm going to leave it like that because I am fine with the slower reloading main guns. You don't have any gimmicks that need your main guns. So, and sometimes they don't do that much damage, whereas these can actually do damage, like against destroyers. As for signals, more HP is always good. More repair is always good. Uh, more speed is always good. Of course, the secondaries. Here is where we're going to get the extinguishing there. And then more fires. If you want anything else, that's up to you, but this is the one what I would run with. As you can see, that only a couple of them I'm pretty low on. Everything else I have a lot of. And so that's my options. And with that, we're going to see a battle not of me, but my clanmate Vader. He had it first, and he had a fun run with some other players I play with. That said, if you want to join us in divisions, click that Discord link below, and you can join our Discord. We generally play on the NA. I do have an Asia account. Some of us have other accounts on other servers. There are other people on other servers that just come and hang out and talk ops, so you're welcome to join the ops community on the Discord below. That said, let's hop into battle. Okay, so here we are. It's Toxic Season from my clan. No, sorry. Season Invader from my clan. I wish Toxic was like my clan. He's a cool dude. And then Somto, who's in Q&A. He's the one I've been playing. Of these people, he's the one I've played ops with the longest and the most. So he's the only one in Missouri, and then you have 3 people in the Manteuffel. So this seems to be the first battle. Because high explosive is loaded. Generally, you want to run armor piercing even against the destroyers, because the armor piercing is going to do more damage against destroyers. That said, there are some cases where you can use high explosive, like if you're farming incapacitation ribbons. Otherwise, yeah, you should generally use armor piercing. German, it's because German caliber armor piercing from 11-inch up does more damage on over pen than high explosive does on a non-pen. From heavy cruisers and lower, then it's kind of both are pretty low. But it's the way that their armor piercing is really high damage compared to other ships, and their HE is really low. But yes, if you're like, there's really low damage. But yeah, if you're farming in caps, you use HE. If you're farming fires, you use HE. Otherwise, you should use armor piercing. So that is my one critique here. As you see, he is going in and using manual secondaries. So against bow and battleship, then high explosive is understandable because you're not going to pen it anyways. You have 350 guns, so you're not overmatching anything at this tier, except for destroyers. Maybe tier 7 and lower cruisers. So the Helena that pops up, you can use armor piercing and overmatch the battle in this match. But otherwise, there are no cruisers in this game mode that you can overmatch. Or not in this game mode, but in this particular game. In others, you have a York. You have yeah, there's like maybe 1 cruiser per match, which would be the York in yeah, the York in Newport, and they're still using high explosive. Maybe he forgot he has an armor piercing. Okay, Vader, I'm calling you out now. You keep using high explosive. You must be farming fire ribbons if you're doing high explosive. Because otherwise there would be no reason to use high explosive this much. Okay, so as you saw, he went for the Seattle. You can actually pre-torp the Seattle. If you do, you don't do the yellow on the white line. You're going to send your torps to where it would stop, or just in front of that, depending on how quickly and how fast your torps are. Uh, but and it's also really easy to Citadel Seattle. Oh, hey, there you are, finally swapping to armor piercing. And as I said, you can just you don't need to do manual secondaries because the secondaries have the same accuracy as Napoli. So Napoli doesn't get the manual secondaries, but is a pretty good secondary boat. It's not the best. It's not the best secondary cruiser, but it is still it's a good one. Best one is Michelangelo, because it's very much secondary focused. There's the Helena. It popped up. That's the only ship in this map that you can overmatch the bow of. But why overmatch the bow when you can find the Citadel of Cleveland, hopefully? There we go. Found the Citadel of Cleveland. And he has 22-second reload. Yeah. Yeah, so 22.6-second reload. So that he is using the secondary slot. I can't actually see his build, but that is because of top grade gunner. That you're having a -8% reload. So that's why for slot 6 you can use either. You can either use main guns or the secondaries, but secondaries is fine, especially since it the secondaries doesn't have a downside to the turret reverse, and it's a 20% boost, and it gives you extra AA. So if you happen to pop in Hermes, you have that. So Season took a lot of damage there since he was up front. So he's going back to the circle. Whereas Toxic Vader says, time to go hunt the carrier. So this ship by itself can't really do this. It's something like if you grab a couple friends and you grab the same ship. Let's see if I remember to pop up the Napoli video where we did the same thing. 3 of us grabbed Napoli's and we all went charging in. And Tough has kind of this lull in the middle. If you have a good team and everything's dead before the planes start coming in, then you have this lull, and the only thing to shoot at is the carrier. So you might as well go shoot at the carrier. Now, the high explosive does have 88 millimeters of armor penetration. I'm not sure if that's enough to penetrate the deck of Midway. I don't remember offhand the deck of Midway, but I think it's enough. So that's another place where HE would be useful. Just always getting pens on the Midway and always doing damage rather than getting bounces if you're shooting armor piercing and it hits the deck. Because your secondaries will not penetrate the deck of Midway. It is a very heavily armored deck. The sides it will penetrate, but you can see these secondaries that are hitting the Midway, and especially on the deck, and it's just not taking damage. Once they hit the sides, yeah, so you had 2 ricochets off the deck. Side is very vulnerable, but the deck, no. It's So the manual secondaries, it's it has two things. One is it increases your range of your secondaries by a little bit, and two, it adds in a placebo effect that you're actually feel more accurate, and three, if you're against a target and you're really close and you want to hit the superstructure rather than the belt, because the secondary is white for the belt, then you can use manual secondaries. But otherwise, it's probably better to use just let them be because the difference isn't that much. You already have here 12-kilometer secondaries. And that is the same range as a lot of as German battleships. So, and they're better than some of them. I mean, you don't get the secondary skill for more accuracy; you just get more rate of fire. It's the Seattle he was looking for. Okay, and picks up the Fletcher. And so, one thing that you can do when you're playing ops, especially ones where there's a lot of heavy fire, is you can go back and forth between players, or if you are playing alone, you go behind your teammates and then sometimes head up. By trading split places with who's in front, it means that the bots isn't focusing on one because they focus on the closest spotted target. And so this that allows the damage to be spread among everybody rather than on one person. If someone is a Valparaiso, absolutely let the Valparaiso go first. But otherwise, you can trade spots and let your DCP and repair come off cooldown, and then you can get in front and tank some more, and then go behind somebody else and let them tank. Right now, they're letting Somtal tank, and Somtal can just overmatch the Val. Oh, enemy destroyers in the middle of 3 Manteuffels. They're not going to last very long. So they are not really. They're only slightly more accurate. It's mostly placebo. You're doing better. And they won't fire as long. Another thing is you only half of them fire if you're manual. So if you're between two enemy ships, you want to keep them on auto because they'll fire at both sides. Whereas if they're on manual, they'll only fire the one side. And here's where the do not try this at home unless you're with a team that really wants to. So we have two of the Manteuffels just going straight for the exit. Not the exit, the last wave, the third wave. I'm letting the second wave get closer. And I often do this in my games is I'll go from the first wave to the third wave, especially if it's the second waves are on the east and west, and it's really hard to go from one side to the other. But I'm generally not this aggressive about it. Or if I am, it's because I want to get on to the next match. But Season, Toxic, and Vader are doing this because they can. So like here, when you have your guns firing off both sides, you don't want to use your manual secondaries at all. Torps, yes. Manual secondaries, no. Oh, there goes Annapolis and Humphreys. Fletcher's about to go in. And another reason why you would want to do this is because you can get the destroyers before they have a chance to activate and reload their torpedoes. And also, by getting right up next to the main, you can citadel it with your big guns. And of course, use your torpedoes. And he found the rear citadel for the main. If you hit the right angle, it acts as a flat target rather than being nice angled, and then you can get into the rear citadel deck. So there we are. The third wave killed before the second wave. Again, that's having a lot of DPM, concentrated DPM, very quickly. And also, not only is it concentrated DPM, but you have high alpha from torpedoes, high alpha from the shells getting citadels, especially on easy to citadel ships like the Annapolis. In this case, the Montana and the Maine aren't so hard to use. And here, he's saying to the Gato to spin around and use the torps in the rear and not just, or no, use the other torps? He's saying to use the non-homing torps. I don't know what he's saying, but he's saying to use the other torps. Oh, are those, yeah, those, will those torps even hit? Because, no, yep, they hit. It's because he's at 30 meters and he's using the homing torps that do almost nothing. Whereas if you use the non-homing torps, they do a lot of damage. So, yes, at 30 meters, you can only use the homing torpedoes, but really you should be using the non-homing torps. Because subs don't have a minimum distance for damage. So it's better to use the non-homing torps. Whereas using the homing torps that have do very little damage. And so Golf 2, the Montana, lives and makes it into the base. Just in time to be shot at by Manteuffel. And is killed by a Manteuffel, just not Vader here. So, if you are crazy and want to do run secondaries, here is a good secondary cruiser that is not locked behind coal, not just grind up. The entire line is all focused on secondaries, so you can continue. You use the same captain and just move them up the line, so you don't have to have a new captain for each ship. I often do because I have to go back to and play other ships, but you don't have to do that. Anyways, so 8 kills, 13 incapacitations, 15 fires. Very good fire starting. Vader's up the top, Toxic and Season top 3, and then Manteuffel with Missouri there, and then the rest of the team. This is about what I expect. Usually our div is on top, and then the rest are at the bottom. Sometimes we do get someone who places among our div or higher, but Normally, this is what I expect, especially for seasoned ops players. So we have the main that was hit by AP shells, 5 AP shells for 40k damage. The 4 torpedoes for 30k damage. So the AP shells did more. And then the secondaries not so much. Um, Cleveland there. Let's see. Over here, the Buffalo. Yeah, the secondaries here are actually doing a lot of damage. So secondaries, in this case, actually did more damage since, I mean, you're going to build into secondaries, so it actually makes sense that they do more damage. Um, Although part of it was all these HE shells. Um, we have twice as many hits with armor-piercing shells, but 4 times as much as damage. So that's why you really want to use armor-piercing more than HE. The HE damage is abysmal. Fires. Unfortunately, with fires, you're not going to get that much damage because by the time their DCP comes off cooldown, they're already at half HP and you're not going to do much. And then you have to be pray that your fire is the one that sticks rather than someone else's fire. So credits, we are using blues here because Vader has um, enough blues that to last him forever. So this is what it looks like if you're running blues. We have 55,000 experience. Um, I think ship XP is red, and then everything else is blue. Yeah, that looks like a red, and then everything else is going to be blue. So not so bad with X credits. But yeah, it's mostly because of blue. The base, this is what he would have earned base is the 3,140 minus 100,000. So it still will make you money. You'll still have money as you grind up this ship. Just not as much, not like this, which looks like a premium ship only because of the bonus package. That said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos as they come out, click that subscribe button. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.